Good morning. This is Ron Brown. These are just a few thoughts of mine pre-market on October 3rd, 2025. Some things that I look at every day, and I just want to share this with you. I'm doing two videos today, this and another one, continuation of the volume spikes. So anyway, enjoy and have a good weekend. I am going to change the add-on date from September to October, and I'll provide a link for you for the new add-on. Good morning. It is Friday morning, the 3rd of October, 2025. I'm just getting to my computer and I'm updating the HCSI, and takes a little while to do it, but all those calculations which allow us to have a refined spreadsheet, I'm going to call it, when the updating is done, is all that's taking place right now. So there's really most of the calculations already done for us. So that's why it takes a little while. You just have to be patient. The market's been on a tear. It just continues to go up, and if you look at the valuations, the traditional valuations, it makes absolutely no sense. Everything is on the come, future, AI, whatever. But if you just go by technicals and setups and so on, there's a lot of opportunity. Personally, I'm not trading right now. I know I'm missing a lot of opportunities, but I just don't feel that good. So I never trade when I don't feel well, and that's just the situation right now. When this process is finished, I will do a quick top-down look at the market, showing you what I look at during the day, pre-market, and you can follow this process if you want to, or just try to pick up a few tips from it. One thing about trading, there are always opportunities, either long or short. Options seem to dominate the market anymore, so it's a good idea if you want to be in on the short side, in addition to the long side, that you learn something about options. There's all kinds of people out there willing to teach you for a fee, but you can learn a lot on your own. Just if you're a Thinkorswim user, just go to Thinkorswim, the education portion, and you'll find plenty of information about options, how they work, and how you can apply them to different market situations. It's about 45 minutes before the open. I've got a simulated trading version of Thinkorswim up in front of me. I just want to run through a few of these indexes. You can see here's the Dow Jones and my basic daily chart. I stick with the 3618 because it's a good indication of market direction in the short and even the intermediate term. And just looking at the Dow, you can see that it broke out here. It was rejected, it pulled back, but it held at the 18-day exponential moving average, and it's been moving up ever since, bullish. Now, I do want to point out that as it's been moving up over the past few days, that the volume has been falling off. So, effort versus result. Here's the effort, and here's the result. It's not too much of an anomaly right there, but as this approaches a new high, you can see that the interest based upon volume has fallen off a little bit. I'm going to go a little broader here. There's the mid caps, the S&P 400. You can see that they're just kind of chopping around. There have been some VPA flags here. Still in a bullish mode, but the 3 has come down through the 6 here, and they're all hovering around the 18 exponential moving average. Let's take a look at the 500. Here's the 500. Everybody talks about the S&P 500, and the volume fell off yesterday. It's been pretty much supported, though, as the market has moved up. It did break past resistance. It gapped open yesterday, traded down, but closed at the midpoint. So this is still intact. Look at the 3-6-18 trend is still up. So it's still looking strong. Go down to the S&P 600, the small caps, and you can see they've been chopping around, not giving us much of a sense of direction. This is where HGSI really comes into play, because we can break these down and see which of the groups or the industry groups within each of these are showing strength rather than a broad look. Now here's the 10-year yield. It's down a little bit today. When it's moving up like this, it means there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, whether the U.S. can continue to pay its bills or not. But you can see there's, over the past few days, it came down, so there's evidently some confidence that things are all going to work out. I'm not so sure about that, but we'll see. I just look at it. You can see it was clear up here at 4.488, and then it started coming down as rate cuts, or the talk of rate cuts, came in to the conversation. If this starts shooting up dramatically, then you need to really be aware of the potential for some market volatility. Bitcoin, I'm not going to look at Bitcoin, but I am going to look. I'm going to go down here to the Qs. And you can see the Qs, which represent the the NASDAQ 100. It broke past resistance, but you can also see that volume has been falling off a little bit. It's sitting up here. It gapped up here, gapped up, traded down, and then by the end of the day it was trading right here on reduced volume. Now let's look at the SPY. Same thing, pretty much the same pattern. Volume the last 2 days really fell off after this move here. This move equates to this right here. So it's out into new high territory, but the enthusiasm has come down a little bit. Now I'm going to drag another screen over here. These are the stocks. I look at pre-market and end of day. Now I will change these, but you can see what's happened with MES, which is the E-mini futures today. Traded up to 67.87.5. It's down to 67.75. Now you're going to get a lot of these long tails pre-market, just bad data. But here's Amazon. You can see overnight the grayed area traded all the way up to 224.38. It's now down at 223.30. This is Nvidia, traded up to almost 190. Now it's at 189.33. You can make or lose a lot of money trading these pre-market. I don't know who trades them. I have no idea. But look at the movement. You really have to be addicted to the market to get in here and mix it up pre-market or overnight. Now here's Microsoft, traded up to 517.29. It's now at 515.74. Doesn't sound like much unless you have large positions on. And the current darling of Wall Street, Hood, one of the current darlings. You can see where it's been trading. I'm going to maximize this sell, Microsoft, and I'm going to go to time and sales, and you can get an idea of the activity on Microsoft. You can see there are a lot of 1 and 2 lot trades. There's 10 lot here, 50 lot. So like I said, you really have to be addicted to the market to get in here and trade this because liquidity is way down. This is moving very slowly compared to when the market opens up. Okay, let's just restore cells. Okay, I'm going to get this out of here. Move it back to my screen on the other side, or the other monitor, I mean. And I'm just going to go down here, and we're going to take a look at HCSI. Now, I use my market analysis user groups. That's the first place I go in the morning. Just going to click on the warehouse views and top-down market analysis. I go, it's under my name, index ETF and so on. Let's just take a look at yesterday's close. This is yesterday's close, sorted on the percentage price change one day. You can see that Bitcoin Trust ETF is at the top, followed by the Ultra VIX, which means that there is a lot of uncertainty. Or at the market close yesterday, volatility was going up. You can see days since a crossover. It's been on the downside, and it only has a relative strength of 7, but it did go up 2% yesterday. And it closed at 93.94% of its daily range, which means that there is a little bit of fear coming into the market. But as I go down this list, you can see the semiconductor shares, the SOX, the ETF. It is number 3. It was up 5.35%. It's been positive, the 3 above the 6 for 19 days. The VPOC has been positive for 21 days, so there's a lot of strength there. Even with that information, we also can look at the accumulation distribution. It's on A, relative strength of 79, but here is how this ETF has performed over multiple days. So let's take a look at 21 days, up 18.6%. It's obviously where the strength has been. Now, I'm not going to read all this off, but I just do want to point out that this column right here, the days since the 3 crossed the 6, you could just look at that column. It tells you where the strength has been for quite some time. Here's the metal and mining. I'll bring up a chart of it. 29 days ago is where it crossed over. Let's make this full screen. So where's the crossover? Okay, here's the crossover down, crosshair, and here's the crossover right here. And the days since the crossover, if you look over here to the left, you'll see that I've included this in the box, or the information box, 29 days ago since the crossover, and that would be the equivalent of right here. This is a chart I use a lot. It's just, it contains the 3-6-18 crossover. Here's the histogram for the 3-6-18 crossover. Histogram is, let me bring the arrow up right here, which is showing what the 3 and the 6 and the 18 are doing. These are volume pocket pivots. This is the volume point of control. And if you look at the volume point of control, I guess I don't have that information in here. I only have the 3 up and down, but it's in the warehouse view. And then, of course, the force index. So looking at this, crossover was here. On the 3-6-18 also, there was confirmation of what I call the volume pocket pivot. Also, the VPOC crossed over that day, as did the force index. Bring that force index pointed out to you. VPOC, force index crossed over the same day after this pullback here. You can see the pullback on the force index. So this is a very useful chart. It's not always correct, but it really gives me a sense of what's happening with an individual security or an index. Okay, I'm going to minimize this chart. But these columns right here really give an indication of the length of time. Well, they show exactly how long something's been in effect. 21 days on the Qs. Go down here, Silver Trust iShares, 30 days. And then, of course, these are the pullback days in this column right here. So if you see, like here's a consumer staples sector. 28 days ago, it was down. If I bring this up, or it's 28 days ago. It says 27 here, but the crossover day is also always 0. So right here, that would be 28 days ago. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's 28 days ago. And that happened on the day where there was an effort to fall, a long red candle, and you can see the 3 crossed the 6 here, down through the 18, and it's never really recovered from that. So if you're going against these moving averages, you're fighting a losing battle. I find this spreadsheet here, and I call it a spreadsheet. It's a warehouse view. Gives just a tremendous amount of information. In fact, about all the information you really need when applying it to a folder like the Market Insight ETS. Why do I call it the Market Insight ETS? Because it gives me a good view of what is happening across a broad spectrum within the markets. Now I'm going to just do a couple more things. I don't want this video to get too long, but I'm going to go into my major. Here's where I am now. I'm going to go into here. Major indexes updated weekly, equal dollar weighting. I'm going to go transfer this to the warehouse views. And then, rather than look at this here, number 1, I'm going to go down to number 3. There's 2 number 3s, advanced declines. Use the HCSI indexes, or a little more focused view. Just cut out some of the columns right here, but I'll leave it on right here. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at yesterday's, and tells me the total number of securities. You can see that out of these indexes here, including this one, 13 advancers, 0 decliners. Now this column right, bring the arrow up here. Advancers divided by decliners. The SOX, there's 30 securities in it, 27 advanced, 3 were down. That's obviously where the strength was yesterday. So that gave us an advanced decline ratio of 9 to 1. Next was the NASDAQ 100 at 1.89 to 1. Common stocks with weekly options. The NASDAQ itself was 1.37 to 1 positive. The S&P was actually negative, but I can see the internals in here, and this column right here tells me the percent advancing compared to the percent declining, the advancing volume divided by the declining volume, and the number of days that these have been in effect, is what I'm trying to say. So it's a lot of information in here. I look at this every day just to see how the strength was. In the prior day, it hasn't been outstanding except for the semiconductor index, 9 to 1. That's a big number. Now there are other things I look at. I don't want this video to get too long, but let's go and change into the index group, and I'm just going to go down here to number 5, percentage returns, 12 months. You can see Micron. This is sorted on since the beginning of the year. The combo rankings are a great thing that I don't think you can find anywhere else. But this tells me Micron is leading the pack based upon since the beginning of the year. And if you go over here to this column, it's up 118.3%. We think of NVIDIA all the time. Intel's had some nice moves, but the leader since the beginning of the year is Micron. Now, if I go up here and click on the ranking module, I like to do this. Wilder relative strength 14 weeks. Then we get a different look based upon the chart. So where is Micron? It's down here at number 10. Let's look at AMKR. And you're going to see a strong chart here. It's a little bit choppy, but pretty steady. What I want to point out here is here was a test, another test, a confirmation of that test. Shortly thereafter, there was a 3 crossing the 6. It made a really nice run up to here from about the 24 range to the 30 range. But here's your buy point right here. You're being warned with these VPA flags. Now this one didn't work out as well, but it really didn't go down. You can see the 3-6 turn negative, but neither one of them penetrated the 18. So the 18 is just kind of what I use as a buffer, I guess is a word. But it's a nice strong chart going clear back here, and then it chopped around, gapped up. Looked like it was a buy point here, but that didn't quite work out. Anyway, I like this chart a lot. I use it a lot, and you'll find it in my most used charts. Now I'm going to wind this down, but before I do that, let's go look at that Micron chart. And you can see that it's had some nice runs here, nice smooth crossovers on the 3, 6, and 18. These are excellent buy points, especially after you get a test. But it chopped around in here for quite some time. Didn't look like it was going to do anything. And then here's the effort to rise. At the same time, the crossover occurred right there. And the VPOC turned positive. Volume pocket pivots down here. And the force index also. So that is a very nice run from 126 clear up to 190 after the buy point. Recently there was a pullback. You can see the 3 went down through the 6, but it didn't challenge the 18. The VPOC turned negative, as did the force index. And then right here there was a 3-6 crossover again as this shot up. Okay, I'm going to end this video right now. It's getting a little bit lengthy, but I just wanted to get something out for the weekend, and I'm going to be working on revising my files for the October add-on. Thanks for listening, and I may add to this video after the trading day is over.